The story begins as a man called Combat Agent Six is told that he will serve as a spy for the Kisaragi Corporation's forces. There are several planets similar to Earth and he will be sent to one of them. The girls reveal that they have nearly conquered the world and questions if he knows what happens to combat agents like himself when they do. He assumes on his body and changed them forever, so they should take responsibility. He is then introduced to Lilith the Dark, one of the company's 3 leaders and the world's greatest scientist. Agent Six can see she has a teleportation device and she compliments him on being a sharp. He is then in. Alice wants to do all the thinking. Since Agent Six is a moron, he would rather do the job without the dangerous robot. He is then given 2 orders. First, the construction of a base with a teleporter that makes it possible to go to and from Earth. Second is simply to investigate the area. The hope is that they will be able to solve their own environmental and food problems instantly. He is being entrusted with such an important mission because he has been with the company since the beginning and he promises to do his best. Agent Six wants some affection before he goes, but is quickly rejected. He is still proud and honored to be going. But one of the girls almost reveals that a dice roll is what decided he would be the one to go. The pair plummet through the sky and Agent Six tells Alice to turn into a jet. However, the only function she has is a self-destruct function. She does happen to have a parachute though, and the 2 land safely. He wants to just build the teleportation device and head back right away. But Alice explains that the process would take at least a month. This planet is similar to Earth though and humans should be there. Agent Six would like to use the wrist device he was given to order a buggy, but they need to use evil points to order things and he only has 300. She reminds him that all Kisaragi employees were implanted with chips in their brain. The chips detect any evil acts they perform and give an appropriate number of points, depending on the action. Just then they are attacked by a pack of monsters and Agent Six is left to do all the work. Alice is meant to be as realistic as possible, so she has been given the combat powers of a normal girl her age. He calls her a piece of junk but regrets it when he is caught in a tough spot. He agrees to ordering a shotgun through the device and the beast is defeated. They are then found by a knight who speaks a different language that Six can't understand. Alice explains that Agent Six was actually a man of high position in a faraway country. He was fighting to protect his people, but when he saved her he was badly wounded and his mind and heart were broken. Her lies work as the knight just believes them to be travelers and is impressed at how they were able to survive. Her name is Snow and she welcomes them to her country. Snow was surprised to see that Six actually recognizes an ancient artifact that once helped her country defeat a demon and explains that magic was used to preserve it. The pair is surprised to hear that magic exists there and Snow explains that only if you are able to use it. They're then introduced to Princess Tilly, who Six instantly falls in love with. She explains that they are currently at war with demons and are lacking in fighters. The demon lord in the next kingdom declared war on them without warning. They are most likely after their land until he asks for Six's help. Afterwards Alice apologizes for Six's brute-like behavior and he starts to think Snow is interested in him. She isn't though and explains she only cares about recognition, money and glory more than anything. Snow then shows them a rainmaking machine that is currently broken, but Alice thinks she can fix it. Snow excitedly goes to tell everyone and makes sure to let the pair know that they will all share the glory. The device is fixed and requires a new password be implemented. Six decides on a really lewd and vulgar password and explains that Princess Tilly will have to say it in front of everyone. When she does she will be completely embarrassed and Six will earn lots of evil points. However, he instantly earns evil points, as what he has just done has been found out. The king can't understand why he would do something so stupid but forgives them since they fixed the artifact. Tilly realizes how valuable their knowledge and strength are and asks that they work for her personally. Snow thinks they might be spies though and Six is quick to point out that Snow was the one who allowed them into the kingdom. Six is now an honorable knight of the Kingdom of Grace and will lead a group of interceptors. Snow still doesn't trust Six, but Alice puts her in her place when she has had enough of her mouthing off to Six. Their nation's army has been ruined due to the demons and they are only left with older men and young women to fight. Snow begins selecting members for Six's group, but Alice searches the resumes and finds 2 she likes. First is Rose, who dramatically introduces herself as the artificial combat chimera. And Agent Six that introduces himself as the fighting machine that underwent surgery and threw away his past and real name. She apologizes for her introduction though, since she isn't really like that, and Six reads that her ability allows her to absorb the powers of what she eats. She has been eating demons recently and has begun taking on some of their characteristics. The next recruit is named Grim and she is said to be a wizard. Snow explains that they will achieve victory faster if she is put in charge, but Six states he refuses to take orders from someone who has been demoted. She can tell that Six is poorly educated and reveals that she graduated from the nation's top school. Six thinks about how he dropped out of high school, but still refuses her idea. After a bit of fighting, Princess Tilly arrives and explains how hard Snow had worked to get to where she is. Later, Alice is surprised to see how the princess's soldiers just walked straight into the enemy's base. Snow proudly proclaims that you win glory by defeating strong enemies head-on. Six explains that his strategy is to cut their supplies so that they will be forced to retreat. Rose is eager to fight though and explains that her grandfather's last wish was for her to eat every demon in the world so that she can become the ultimate chimera. Snow is still insistent that they directly attack the main camp so she can get more glory and pay off the debt from buying an expensive sword. Luckily, Six has a talent for making his accomplishments seem better than they actually are. They go through with his plan and successfully attack the supply carts. Rose unleashes her fire attack, cooking everything including one of the enemies that was just alive in preparation to eat it all. They're interrupted by one of the Demon Lord's Elite Four named Haney. She commends them on how they ruthlessly attacked and will allow them to survive if they just leave all the supplies. Haney has taken a liking to them and offers them a place in the Demon King's army. She explains that Six can be in charge of the humans and can make any woman his wife, so obviously he accepts. Alice reminds him of his duties though and he eventually declines. Much to Haney's disappointment, she prepares to fight them and Six quickly realizes just how useless his team will be when they are too busy to join him. He is quickly at a disadvantage fighting the Griffin and the Demon. But thankfully Alice offers some support. Her anti-Mega Beast rounds have a lot of recoil though. She grows more intrigued by the pair. Just as the second demon arrives to back her up, he instantly catches Grimm off guard with an attack and Haney explains that she has become bored with the fight. This new demon is another of the Lord's Elite Four named Gadel Kong. Six is still destroyed to see Grimm's lifeless body and Alice tells him that there is nothing he can do as she is already gone. Six finally gathers himself and asks to Alice warped in a buzzsaw so he can tear the demon to shreds. Cattle Kong is called away immediately after though and they decide to have a funeral for Grimm. It is explained that an attack like that would never kill Grimm though and Rose begins to tend to her. Snow reveals that Rose has demon blood in her and for that reason she had always been sent into battle on the front lines. Grimm had been treated poorly throughout her life as well and they take her to an altar. They leave an offering with her as well and must now wait for her to revive. Everyone heads to bed, but Six stays behind to watch over his friend. Grimm grows her head and comes back to life. She assumes Six is there to punish her for not fighting before being decapitated, but he explains that he just didn't want her to come back alone. Afterwards the two enjoy a stroll after Six is warped in a brand new wheelchair for her. She explains that Rose and herself are different from everyone else so the military sends them to all the most dangerous places to get rid of them. It's okay since they aren't easy to kill. But she warns Six that he should leave the army. He is having too much fun though and explains that he wouldn't leave his new harem for anything. They run through the town scaring innocent pedestrians so that Six can collect several evil points. They are stopped by an officer but Grimm prepares to place a curse on her. However, she explains that her curses have an 80% chance of working and if they fail the curse will be turned on her. Grimm plans to curse the officer so that she feels the pain you feel when you stub your toe on the dresser. It's clear that it didn't work though when Grimm ends up feeling the pain. Later the king is surprised to hear that the demon army has retreated. Even though the humans were losing the fight, Agent Six arrives to explain it was because of him but the royal strategist doesn't like Six at all. The strategist insults Six a unit, but he is quick to reveal that his unit is the one that managed to set fire to the demon's supplies. They are all grateful for his work and the king explains that all they have to do now is wait for the Chosen One to save them. Legend says when the demons attack a crest will appear on the hand of the Chosen One and they will gain power. After endless trials they will eventually defeat the Demon Lord. Six then reveals his hand to shock everyone. He believes himself to be the Chosen One but Tilly explains that it's actually a bite mark from a speckled avicella, a deadly insect whose poison kills instantly. Six realizes he hasn't died because of a shot given to him before arriving, until he explains that the crest has already appeared on her brother's hand. Later Alice tries to force Rose into eating a grasshopper since she will be able to take its characteristics and become nearly invincible. Rose manages to free herself and Six wonders why someone so strong would let herself be bossed around by the army. She is still trying to figure out who she is, since her only memories are that of the old man that made her. He had been researching a stone of miracles that was capable of doing anything. She was promised that in exchange for her help they would share research they had done. On the ruins where she was born the pair decide that she should become a combat agent like Six. They then celebrate as she has deemed his apprentice. That night 6 gets a very strange feeling and when asked explains that he can't figure out why no one has fallen in love with him yet. He believes he should have had a fan service event happen by now and patiently waits around the corner in the hopes that he will bump into a girl elsewhere. It is explained that the Chosen One and his party have been defeated by the demons at Duster Tower. His wounds are not fatal but time is running out and the demons will win if they don't do something. First, according to the Chosen One, Duster Tower contains a treasure needed to defeat the Demon Lord. They must attempt to get it without the Chosen One now, and the strategist recommends 6 come up with a plan since he mocked them earlier for losing the last battle. He thinks they should set it on fire but it's made of stone. 6 explains that they need to take the first floor and set a fire at its center. They ultimately decide against his idea and will instead attack with brute force. The next day the battle commences but 6 wants to wait for the evening. He explains that they have no chance of beating the pair that defeated the Chosen One. However, if the soldiers haven't taken the tower by the time Grim wakes up, then they will come up with a plan. Snow goes off on her own, but returns later to find that Grim still hasn't woken up. Grim talks in her sleep to reveal lewd dream about Snow, but is quickly woken up. Alice explains that it is time for 6 to remove his heavy armor and they all begin to scale the side of the building. They're making their way up quickly but Snow runs into a problem. She has been swinging her sword all day and is now beginning to lose strength. Falling means death for her and those below her, so 6 catches her as she is about to fall. 6 asks that she hold on tighter to reduce wind resistance, but she quickly realizes what his intentions are. At the top of the tower, the 2 demons boast about their victory over the Chosen One and believe that they will soon be promoted by the Demon Lord. One begins to think he might be even stronger than the Demon Lord, but is quickly attacked by 6. Gil is the demon remaining at the top and 6 warns him to not move or they will hit the goat demon with rocks until he falls. 6 earns even more evil points. With his evil plan, as they begin to hit Gil with rocks, since he is not allowed to move, the goat returns to the top of the tower to find Gil unconscious and 6 explains that there is still time to save his comrade. He won't release him for just any reason though and blackmails the goat for money, of course, earning himself even more evil points. That night 6 receives his pay for all that he has done. But Snow has a difficult time accepting how he made a deal with the demons. They did manage to get the treasure though, so she lets it go. She explains that this amount of gold is enough for an entire family to live a life of luxury for 1 year and 6 decides to quit being a spy so that he can live there for the rest of his life. He explains to Alice how he had been underappreciated at the company and she begins to wonder why he didn't quit sooner. Alice receives her payment as well and explains that the last thing given to her was a shotgun. 6 reminds her that it wasn't a present, but lets it go when he sees how happy she is. And that's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Please subscribe and like this video and I'll see you next time.